Testing, hot outbound car, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to hear?
Are you ready?
Make the approach. Plant your feet firmly in the ground. Head down. Eyes on the ball. Relax. That's it. Get your left arm straight. Your right arm straight. Relax. Lower your right shoulder. Go!
The Honeymooners Podcast, the only podcast that is all about the greatest show of all time. With the stars, Joe Conti and Louis Fatts.
Welcome, fellow raccoons and members of the Women's Auxiliary. What's happening? All you Hurricanes, Bensonhurst Bombers, and all you Professor Walter Newmans of the world. You're listening to the Honeymooners Podcast with me, Joe Conti, and my pal Louis Fatts.
You couldn't go to the Board of Nuts.
That's right. This is the only discussion-based podcast all about the greatest show of all time. We record in the Non-Productive Studios in Clifton, New Jersey. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating and leave a positive review. And we're going to read one of those.
Yeah?
Yeah, almost every show.
We got a positive review.
Yeah. Our home base is the Non-Productive website. So if you go to non-productive.com/honeymooners, you can listen right on there if you don't do the podcast thing. And don't forget to like our Honeymooners Podcast Facebook page. What's happening there, Lou?
Oh, Joe, we're at 38.
Number 38.
One away from the
big number
big
number 39. Yep. And Frank, who runs the studio here, wants to do a special, that one that we wanted to do where we would do it live.
Yes.
Where we would Zoom, and it would be all video. So even any clips that we playing, we'd be showing the video.
Okay, cool.
He wants to do.
We'll do it.
We were talking about it, and he's like, "Why don't we do one for number 39?" And I was like,
that would be the perfect one.
That would be the one, yeah. So we just got to figure out what we want to do. So maybe we'll do that. And then we'll either do another podcast. But I think that would be number 39.
That
and then
should
we'll
be
go
39,
to number 40.
yeah.
And then we'll go
right to number 40.
Number 40, exactly. But, yes, so we have a busy show for you. First off, it's so funny. I didn't even realize we have a Patreon.
Yeah.
Which I kind of forgot we have a Patreon account.
Just cut our expenses down.
Yeah, never mention it. I should. We do have a Patreon account. Even though we hardly mention it.
Yeah.
We have a Patreon person who's sending us, who's supporting us.
Supporting us.
And I want to give him a shout out.
She deserves it.
It's Cousin Bill Munuratz. Muneratz. Cousin Bill.
Hello, Bill.
Yes, but thank you, Bill. We appreciate that.
We do.
That is very cool.
Kind. Very kind.
Anybody else? Look, we pay for the studio time, so it's not like, and we're not making any money doing this. So if anybody wants to,
we're basically sponsoring ourselves.
Yeah. So if anybody does want to support us, if you just go to Patreon and look up the Honeymooners Podcast, and there's different things. I mean, it's probably as low as $1, and probably as much as $5, like per month.
Put you down for the usual buck.
Which, by the way, that's one that we want to talk about one day. So, but also, because we always say, hey, listen, go on iTunes and leave a 5-star rating and leave a positive review. And so we have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So we're going to start reading them. Each episode, we'll just read one. Not? And we have a brand new one. It's from Chucker D, and it's called Unbound Joy. Yeah. He gives a 5-star review. Right. And it says, the podcast always puts me in a good mood. I listen to it when out driving or walking, and people must think I'm a full-grown nut with all my laughing, or full-blown nut with all my laughing. Thanks, Joe and Lou, for the great RX for a bad mood. See what he did there?
Hell yeah.
Like a prescription medication
for a
bad mood. Well, thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. Thank you, Chucker D.
Chucker D.
Unbound Joy. We really appreciate that. So,
great.
All right, we're going to start off with Not really. We figured out it's not a Louis observation. This is just something that we just figured we'd discuss.
I mean, sometimes when we see something, it doesn't necessarily mean it's an observation.
Right. It's not like you didn't catch something.
Yeah, we consider observations something like we never caught before.
Right. Keeping the show fresh.
Keeping the show fresh
Right.
and things like that. And this one really is an observation, but not in that light.
Right.
Okay, so, well, I'll just read it, Joe.
Okay.
It's from the $99,000 answer.
What is it from?
The $99,000 answer.
This one?
That's the one.
Okay.
Great intro. Not Swanee River, but it's great intro.
The only time it's not
Great
Swanee
intro.
River.
Okay, it's the beginning when Ralph has to make a selection of his category, and they come out with the sign with all the categories on the sign.
Right.
So I just stopped it one day, and I was watching it on my YouTube on my phone. I just stopped this. What do you call that, Joe? Screenshot?
Yeah.
I did a screen. What do you call it?
Screenshot. Look at Louis stepping into the 21st century. What do you call that? A screenshot? Yeah, it's called a cell phone, Lou. It's called a cell phone.
So the topics are read them down.
So in other words, he gets to choose from all those topics. He picked popular songs
because the girl comes out
right.
with the list. The stage girl.
Correct.
She's probably one of the June Taylor dancers.
Yeah.
Who we used in place in spots like that where they were from the June Taylor dancers.
Right.
He used in spots
because that's where he used them in his variety show. Right?
Variety show, and he was also married to June Taylor's sister, Marilyn,
okay.
I believe her name was. Okay, so got that out of the way. Okay, here's the topics that she brings out on this card: poetry, currencies of the world, popular songs, table tennis, women behind the men, history, Chinese cooking. What would be sweet and sour lychee nuts? Famous quotations, bridge builders, and rare tropical birds.
Okay.
Now, go ahead.
Wait. The one that says the woman behind the man.
Women behind the men.
So in other words, it's probably a
It's
famous man.
It's a famous man. What is say like be like Eleanor Roosevelt, or
Right,
something like
right,
that,
all
like a good woman behind the man.
Correct. That
like
one's actually
Dolly Madison.
Yeah,
and,
that one
like
sounds
Martha
sort of
Washington.
legit.
Yeah,
That's
like
a
that.
little-
Yeah, that's that you can see.
Yeah.
Wait,
go read it.
All right,
poetry.
poetry.
The first one.
Poetry.
All right. Just poetry.
Just
Okay.
plain poetry.
Guess,
Yeah,
no specifics.
No specific poetry.
Because I'm gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess that two Italian guys named Louis and Joe from Jersey don't know much about poetry.
No,
I'm gonna guess. I don't think you.
Yeah, the once was a girl from Nantucket, but that's probably and currencies of the world. Which at the time before the euro, there was actually currencies.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a legit topic.
I guess. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
Of course, popular songs, Ralph, which is normal,
Right.
normal thing. Now here's the best one I think out of all of them: table tennis.
I know. What are you going to ask?
What are you going to ask?
Like, are you going to ask what are the measurements for a standard table tennis table?
And they would probably know it, but I mean, it's like you got to remember your audience. Like you're looking at this, like. Table tennis? Like, really?
It's actually very funny. Like,
it is.
Table
Yeah,
tennis.
it is.
Table tennis.
Oh, that would be Ed Norton's atomic cannonball.
Cannonball.
Super atomic cannonball.
That's right. That's another thing. So there's one.
There's one.
Where it's a reference to something that happened in the show. There's one.
Table tennis.
Table tennis.
Okay, women behind the man. We did history.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
Chinese cooking.
Well, they
Sweet and
always
sour.
sweet and sour,
lychee nuts.
Lychee nuts.
And fortune cookies.
Fortune cookies. They always mention the Hong Kong Gardens.
Yes,
put it on the fork.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and the Mugu Gai Pan rising at
Yeah.
So
350
Chinese cooking
feet
was
per second. So that's another reference to the show.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Famous quotations. I guess it's a normal topic.
Yeah, I guess they might say,
show.
right.
For a quiz show, yeah, that would be a normal. Bridge builders. Like, okay.
I know a bunch of bridge burners.
Yeah,
I got a bunch of friends of mine that are bridge burners in
But
the
that is
comedy
it.
world.
Yeah.
But I don't know too many bridge builders.
Bridge builders?
Bridge builders.
Who built the Pulaski Skyway? It's a big thing here in Jersey.
Yeah.
It wasn't Pulaski.
Yeah, no, it was Grant Tomb.
Yeah.
Grant. Who was buried in Grant's tomb?
And the last one, rare tropical birds.
Rare tropical birds. Another reference to the show
with birds.
With the birds,
Right.
with with Norton,
and yellow-bellied sapsucker.
and sapsucker, and then Fortune.
Fortune. Yeah.
Yes, Fortune with the bird. But yes.
Okay, so we just thought that the list was pretty comical in the topics,
obviously, you know. And think about this: they did that, not thinking 65 years later,
right?
We would be able to stop. And there's no VHS.
Yeah, no,
there wasn't even a rerun yet.
Right, no, and people probably never even read that thing.
No,
you just see Ralph looking at the thing.
Yeah, because they're looking at
they're
looking at Ralph or the girl because she's a pretty woman.
Right. Yep.
And he's the star,
yes.
or even maybe
Herb Norris. What's his name?
Herb Norris. Yes,
Norris.
very good. Herb Norris.
And so nobody's really reading the things.
Right.
On. They just see Ralph look at it. He gives it no thought. It goes right to popular songs. He's not doing the head scratch and the
doing the tricksy scratching her head in confusion,
finger on the chin. Like I'm thinking. No,
yes,
they didn't do it. They just went right to the topic. So that was it. So that was legit, and that was But he got his topic. But it was just funny the categories that he had to choose from.
Yeah.
So that
and they obviously wanted to go for a little bit of a gag.
Yeah.
Because table tennis,
table tennis, table
tennis.
Was that really popular in 1955? And I don't know.
And what about it? Like, what are you supposed to? How I don't know. Like, how many points do you play till? 21.
Yeah, because 21 points wins this game, not 19.
Yeah. And then I would win 21 to 19.
21 to 19.
That's right. So, definitely, I like the fact that they threw in a couple of
some kind of strange ones.
Yeah, absolutely
strange things there.
All right. So we last week we discussed the amazing continuity in the Saturday afternoon gag. If you don't know what we're talking about, listen to episode 37, or it might have been 36. No, I think it was last week.
No, it could have been last week. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
And because there
should be listening to them all anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you should be, or this should be the second time you're listening to
them, like me. 14 times in that.
So,
Dusty out in that hall.
Dusty out in that hall. Quick, Louie, quick.
We haven't used it in a long
time. We haven't.
I
haven't coughed.
Joe hasn't coughed in like 20 episodes.
Yeah. So we always mention how there's so much inconsistencies in this show. And last week we found a great consistency with 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And didn't realize that they put together, it actually came to consider, because Ralph, in the one episode, Ralph never plays with Ed, never plays pool on Saturdays with him. And then Ed mentions that he's not going to go to shopping with Trixie on Saturday, which he always does.
Yep.
And we put it together.
Those 2 episodes together, and there was a consistency.
Great consistency.
In an inconsistent show.
And a very inconsistent show. Well, we have another consistency in a very inconsistent show. And I think once you hear the first one, because they both happen to be punchlines.
Yeah.
They're both punchlines.
Yes, they are.
So it makes it a little easier to recognize. And I'll play you the first one.
I socked mine away in a bank. You know what the bank account is now? It's going up. We got $75 laying around there.
First of all, I just want to say, the way he says laying around just adds to the joke.
Yeah.
It just adds. We got $75 laying around.
It's just like wonderful. This big amount, like he's one of the Rothschilds.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just great how he does that. Listen, that's what's great. The great comedy teams of Gleason and Carney to be able to just say the great jokes and give it that extra oomph, which he did. So obviously, that's the one. And I think you're already, if you're a huge fan of the actual show, I think you'll already know the second part, which is...
Get your bank book.
Get your bank book.
And we all know where the bank book is.
Top pan, dress pan.
$75. Income, interest,
Bank account, $75.
That's not the interest, that's the bank account. To about $2.25.
There you go.
Which is a lot of interest on
$75, right?
Yes.
But
today,
we actually discussed that they don't pay interest anymore.
no, nothing. There's nothing. Today, you would have got a penny on that.
Yeah. When I was even a kid, in like early 80s, I used to, it's the last time I was able to save money.
Yep.
I used to save money like a maniac until I was 17.
Okay.
Haven't been able, 19, I'm sorry. I bought a first card, then a second card, 19. I haven't been able to save $1 since.
Okay, well.
But I used to get a decent amount
of interest.
Yeah, interest with 50, 60 bucks in there. You would get it would be all of a sudden
be like 6%.
My little bank book. I had my little bank book.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he got a couple of bucks in there. But the $75, 2 episodes, the first one and Worry War, which was like 29 or something.
Yeah. And they used $75, which, when you think about it, if there's anything that could fluctuate, it would be your bank account.
Yeah. That's true.
Right? When you think about it. If he said 75 one day, next week 65, next week
you would say that makes
82,
sense.
Makes sense. Your bank account goes up and down.
Right.
You know, what you're spending on, what he's spending on his ridiculous things.
28 weeks later.
28 weeks later,
he's
still
say
$75.
$75 in there. But she couldn't give him 15 bucks
to pay his dues.
But yeah, that was a consistency
Yep,
that we thought in a very inconsistent show. Absolutely. So, we have, you know what? I'm so glad because I don't think we did one last week, and I'm looking forward to it, which is the one of our favorite bits to do, and that is...
This could be one of 4.
And now, the Honeymooners podcast presents...
It's not in the top hand drawer.
The Flub of the Week.
The Flub of the Week. My pal Joe Fernandez.
Joe Fernandez, great job on that.
Great job.
Oh, man, that's great.
So we have our Flub of the Week. Now, this one I have seen. I remember you said something to me, and I remember in one of the Honeymooners groups that I follow.
Now, just want to say, Joe. We knew of this flub, but we were holding it.
Yes.
Now, we knew it appeared.
You did.
Yeah, it appeared.
You held it.
Yeah, we were holding it for that special time. So, because, we were running out of flubs.
Yeah, exactly.
So we wanted to keep it, and we did read about it in the Honeymooner, in one of the Honeymooner group posts, but we had already knew that we were going to do it. So we're not, borrowing stuff from them, and like they borrow from us.
So this is from, incidentally, the last episode, number 39.
Yes, this is what's
Man's Pride.
This is what's cool
last
about it.
episode, and for anybody that doesn't know, tell me because I didn't hear it the first time.
Yeah.
Louis, but you see that there's something going on.
You knew there's something going on.
Something went awry, and let's listen.
Well, how about a little game of pool tonight? Okay, a little game of pool. That is, if you're not tied up at a board of directors meeting.
I'm dire trouble, Norton.
What?
Davis called her. She called her up today.
Uh-oh. Oh, you mean she knows about the boss's office?
All right.
Yeah. Now, for years, we've always known that was just a flub of him stumbling over the line. Me and Joe were talking before the show, like we thought that he jumped on Norton's line before Norton was...
Because he did.
He did. He jumped before Ed was through with his line.
Yep.
And it basically threw him really off.
Right. Which we
thought, we always knew that it was a flub, that he's just stumbling over...
flub.
He
called her up.
He even says she, and he meant he.
Yes.
He says, he refers to Bill Davis as she, but... Joe, you want to play it again?
Yes.
Go ahead. Just play it again.
Okay.
So everybody really listen here.
Just listen to what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Bill Davis called Alice.
Okay, listen what
but
he
doesn't
says.
say
that.
Well, how about a little game of pool tonight? Okay, a little game of pool. That is, if you're not tied up at a board of directors meeting.
I'm dire trouble, Norton.
What?
Davis called her. She called her up today.
Uh-oh. Oh, you mean she knows about the boss's office?
Bill Davis called, and what he said was
odd.
because Louis told me this.
I just if anybody out there, you read the book, it's called Love Alice. I just finished the book Love Alice, and Gleason, when speaking to Audrey Meadows, always called her Aud. So now you see here, or we hear in this episode here, in this little bit, he calls her Aud.
Right. Okay, went out of character.
And called
her by her actual
name.
But you actually only hear him say aw. He doesn't even get to the duh.
Yeah.
He doesn't say he called Aud, because you would have noticed that.
If he said Aud,
you would have been like, what?
What did he just say?
But it was just
Aud. And you know he's going to say Aud instead of Alice.
And I guess because he wasn't going to say, he called because if he goes, he called Alice. He didn't want to say he called her again. He didn't want to say it again.
And then he screwed up the next way trying to fix it. And he says she called, meaning he.
Yeah.
She's calling Bill Davis she.
Yes. Him, her, me, us.
He, she, it, you. Mr. Douglas.
Mr. Douglas. I'm so glad that he, us, we, very upset that you broke your ankle. All right, now that you heard us say it, let's see if you can hear it.
Well, how about a little game of pool tonight, okay? A little game of pool. That is, you're not tied up at a board of directors meeting?
I'm dying trouble, Norton.
What?
Davis called her. She called her up today.
She called her up
today. Yeah.
So he got flustered.
He got flustered with the Aud.
Yeah, because he goes, he called her
Aud.
He called her
Aud. And
she called him up today.
Yeah.
So apparently Bill Davis has he must have been some really good doctors, because he really didn't look like a she.
Here's funny too. This is the last episode. This is 39. It took him 39 episodes to make that mistake.
And that's probably, especially when you work with somebody for they've worked. Not only the 39, they worked for years together
before on the Gleason show.
On the Gleason show.
Yeah.
And it was and I don't, like I said, we don't know the lost episodes that much.
No, we don't.
But and the ones that I've seen, I don't remember him doing that. But think about it. It's the last episode
of the 39.
The 39. And he calls her Aud. It's great.
He made it through 38.
He made it through 38
and a half.
Maybe she should have been named Audrey. Yeah, instead of Alice. Yeah. But yes, so that is the flub of the week. And we've been holding on to that one for a while.
We were holding that for a long time.
Yeah.
A long time.
We still got a couple more, though.
We got a couple.
We got a couple more.
We have a few.
Because we have discussed that that's the one thing that's going to be running out.
Yeah, flubs.
Right. Because we can't observe something that's not a flub.
Yeah, right.
We can observe something and then find, see something, but it's either a flub or it's not a flub.
When we run out, we'll have to go into a thing called Now the Honeymooners presents the Flub Vault. It goes back to one we used.
Without a doubt. I mean,
Fernandez, Joe, you got to do this first.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll do this flub. Maybe we'll come back and do this flub. Ready?
Now I'm going to put on some mambo music, and we'll see how it sounds with that. Then tonight you can
see what it sounds with that. We could do a whole episode just doing all flubs. Just going through the vault of all the old flubs.
The flub vault.
The flub vault. What a great name. The flub vault. We might call this episode the flub vault. Oh man.
Oh okay. God.
So now, moving right along, we're decent time.
Okay,
so we still got time.
Good.
We always talk about how Alice is the voice of reason.
Yes.
Alice is I don't want to say the smart one, because then we're saying that Ralph's dumb. He's not dumb.
She's not.
But she's more of the rational one.
Rational, right? Because Ralph can be irrational,
right?
Just by his explosions.
Exactly.
Makes your behavior irrational.
Yeah. She's the one with the heart of gold.
Yeah.
Of course, he does too, but she's always the one you need somebody grounded and always make the right decisions.
Right.
And she's like that most of the time.
Right.
There's been a couple of times
where she's
and we're gonna expose one of them right now. And this was from the episode Matter of Life and Death.
Yes.
and it's towards the end. It's when Ralph realizes he's not going to die. You mean never? No, I don't mean never. Okay. Here we go. And listen to what... And, of course, you know the episode, and I think you'll see where we're going with this. It's the arterial monochrome,
I'm not going to die. You mean never? I don't mean never. If I don't die in 6 months, they'll see that I do. It was all a mistake. There's nothing wrong with me. That report was about a dog.
Well, that's wonderful, Ralph. That's good news. What are you so glum about?
I just told you, now that I ain't gonna die, they're gonna kill me.
Ralph, there's only one thing you can do. Only one thing. You just gotta go down there, give them back the $5,000, and tell them the truth.
They don't care about the $5,000. This installment is on the stands now. They'll be laughed out of the business. What are they going to put in the next installment? Bus driver won't die from scratching fleas?
Great line. Great line.
Shut up! I got to think of something, Alice. I got to think.
Oh, don't think, Ralph. Don't think. Because if you think, Ralph, you're only going to get into trouble.
Oh, you're going to get yours.
And there we have it.
Leave me alone!
So now... If we remember the episode, she brings her mom's dog Ginger, to the veterinarian,
Dr. Morton,
and she doesn't want Ralph to know because of spending money. And Ralph went and got his own checkup.
Yeah.
So when the results came from the doctor, the veterinarian, because Ralph didn't remember his own doctor's name, which
it's okay.
Went along for the story,
because she doesn't know who Dr. Morton is,
and he sees the report of the dog.
Right.
Thinks he's going to die. Here's the thing. That, when she says at the end, don't think. You're only going to get in trouble. This was all her fault.
If you just told him in the beginning.
She was truthful.
Yep.
She wasn't a lying broad.
Lying dame.
But that is one of the rare times where she was wrong. The other one time, the one time that we already discussed, and she admitted it was with the babysitter.
Babysitter one.
Because she said, I shouldn't have, I shouldn't have been behind your back. But this one, if she was honest with him.
None of this happened.
None of it, of course,
we wouldn't have an episode.
We wouldn't have an episode. But the point is that she was actually in the wrong, and she made it like he was an idiot.
Yes.
For getting into trouble.
Yep.
And, of course, he didn't get in trouble, and we don't know where the $5,000 went. So
she says to him, go down there and give him back the $5,000. Well, you do go down. It's in your name. You have to withdraw it.
Yeah, really. I'm exhausted. I've been scratching at fleas all day long. All right. We've discussed this. Last week I brought up one where my cable company, Optimum Online, I DVR all of my Honeymooners things, and a couple of them have an interesting... so in other words, when I DVR them and I just hit play, if you hit the info, it'll give it won't even say like A Man's Pride.
Right.
It doesn't do that. It gives a synopsis.
Right.
Like for A Man's Pride, it might be like Ralph meets an old friend.
Right.
And then there's a description underneath, like 2 sentences. And so I found another one that came in, and the top thing, you can tell which episode.
Okay.
But the description, it's very weird.
Okay.
All right, listen to this description. Ralph takes an ill-timed look into the future with results that prove highly amusing to everyone but him.
Results into the future. Could it be Chef of the Future?
That's not it. That would be what's that episode called?
Better Living
Through Television. I'll give you 2 more guesses.
Okay, 2 more guesses. Looks into the future.
Ralph takes an ill-timed look into the future with results that prove highly amusing to everyone but him.
Oh my God! What the heck? Looks into the future,
dude. You're not. You're not going to believe it.
I'm like,
you're not going to believe it.
I'm like dumbfounded here.
You're not going to believe it.
Looks into the future.
Yeah.
How would that be?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
Actually, you know what? I'm just going to play a clip.
Play a clip. Okay,
Here.
see if I can get it.
This-
I'll see if I can get it there.
Here, hold on. Ready?
I'm not going to die.
Oh, no.
You mean never?
It was this
Don't
episode.
mean
Yes.
never.
Yes.
If I don't die in 6 months, they'll see that I do.
A matter of life and death.
So,
because the title says Ralph mistakenly believes he is dying.
Okay. All right. Then we would have known exactly that. That's it.
But the description?
description?
Ralph takes an ill-timed look into the future with results that prove highly amusing to everyone but him.
Sounds like a PBS show.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's this, a Ken Burns documentary? It's just weird. And oddly, and
dying in 6 months is looking into the future.
An ill-timed look into the future.
Looking. Yeah,
and
well,
dude, this is
died.
a coincidence.
Yeah,
coincidence that we just
did that. See?
I didn't even.
All right,
put
yeah,
that.
Because I didn't know about this, Joe.
No,
Joe
I
Rito.
wanted to let you see if you can
we
guess
try to
that.
do this on our spontaneity. Our show is based on spontaneity.
Ill-timed. Unbelievable. All right. Well, listen, we are at 30 minutes.
Oh man.
Yes. So I think we should finish up with a trivia, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I got one.
So we have a new trivia theme, and it's this. All right, Lou.
All right, now
what do you got for me?
Honeymooners trivia.
All right.
Okay, now as Joe can see in front of me, I don't have my.
Yeah, you don't even have your notes or
I
anything.
have my no notes, so
Okay.
I'm just going to take this off the top of my head.
Gotcha.
So if it's wrong, you just write us, and
Okay.
I'm sure we'll get something from South Florida. So, all right, here's the trivia. Joe, there's 4 characters named Tom. Who are the 4?
I got the clicking
I
from
hear
the
the clicking, Tim.
clicking in the phone.
Take the clicking out. The guy $100.
Tommy Mullins.
1.
Tommy, Thomas, Tommy. Oh, Tommy, the kid with the gun, the water pistol. Tommy, Italian kid, Manicotti. That's right.
Okay,
Manicotti.
that's
Yeah. Tom.
Who'd you say first? Mullins. You said Mullins.
Tommy
So I got
Mullins.
Mullins and Manicotti.
Right.
Okay.
Tommy Manicotti and Tom.
And a hint?
Give me a hint.
$100.
Oh, brought it to the cleaners.
Yes.
I can't think of his name.
Tommy Doyle.
Tommy Doyle. And there's one more.
There's one more.
Oh,
I'll just give you a hint. It's a Tom, not a Tommy.
it's a Tom. Tom. This is killing me. I can't think of it.
the announcer on the $99,000 question. Or answer, $99,000 answer. Herb says, Tom, who's our...
Oh! Which is Joe Rumsey.
Joe Rumsey. It's Freddie Muller.
It's Freddie Muller. Joe
Freddie,
Rumsey.
Freddie
and
Thomas Muller.
Yeah, Freddie.
Going by his middle name.
Freddie Thomas Muller. That's great. Wow. That's a great question.
Maybe a fifth, I don't know, but somebody out there will let us know.
I'm thinking it's one of Alice's ex-boyfriends.
That's right, yeah,
we
we said Fred Fay, or somebody said it could have been Fred Feeney.
Fred Feeney.
We
yeah.
said Fred Fay.
I got to listen to that.
I got to listen to that one again.
Yeah.
One of our emailers told me that.
Yes.
He thought it was Fred Feeney. I said, okay.
Fred Feeney.
Well, you know, it says very faintly. I said, we'll
Yep.
go back and listen to that.
Well, listen, we thank you, everybody, for giving us a listen. Episode number 38 in the books. We want to thank the Facebook groups, especially the Honeymooners Raccoon Lodge with Brother Norton and Joy.
And Joy, yes.
They're great. Brother Norton's got his Honeymooners Trivia podcast. He's also got his the Honeymooners Thursday Trivia podcast. I have my other show, the Conti and Kenny Show, which is on every Monday night on More Like Radio. I also have my, it's like 8 years old now, my debut comedy DVD, CD. It's called Joe Conti Happiness, and you can get it on iTunes or anywhere else. And you know what? Just a real quick thing. One of our listeners, Ted Leinart.
Ted Leinart, yep.
Just started a podcast.
Yes.
About the Odd Couple.
Yes.
And I think it's called, what's the address that they're 14th.
I'll call it 1049 Park.
That's what it's called.
Okay.
They call it 1049 Park Avenue Odd Couple podcast. Him and a friend of his, and I listened to the first episode. I thought it was very good.
Okay, good. I'll start.
And he told me that we were the inspiration for him. So
inspire people.
Yes. So go check that out. And we appreciate everybody giving us a listen. Tell your friends about the show. Go on YouTube and put the Honeymooners podcast in. We got 3 short clips. They're like little promotional clips to give people an idea of what we're about.
Yep.
And the newest one is
that's great.
It's called Requirements.
I laughed myself watching it.
Yeah.
And I know what's going on, and I'm still laughing.
You were there.
I was there.
And it's still funny.
It's part of it, and I'm still laughing like the first time I ever heard it.
But listen, thank you everybody for giving us a listen.
Laughs at his own jokes.
Yes. Laughs at his own jokes. And we'll see you next time.
Night all.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
We'll have to do this again real soon.
How about tomorrow night?
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.